Hello world and welcome back to another episode of the vlog series which goes to the end of every metro line in Shanghai in search of the interesting, the extraordinary and the unusual. Now today we're jumping on Line 9 which stretches from close to the mouth of the Yangtze River in Shanghai's east all the way out to deepest, darkest Songjiang district in the southwest, where we'll find one of Shanghai's highest points and possibly the most famous of Shanghai's internationally inspired areas. So there's a lot ahead of us, so let's get on board.
Did you ever look at a map and wonder, where are these places? What's out there? Well, maybe it's just me, but I decided it's time to find out. I'm travelling to the end of every metro line in Shanghai in search of the interesting, the extraordinary and the unusual. So let's go to the end of the line.
Today we're jumping on Line 9, which is actually the second longest metro line in Shanghai. And as a result, it does take a little bit of commuting to get to the first end.
We start this journey in Shanghai's east at Shaolu next to the Yangtze River, pass underneath a vast amount of Pudong suburbia, dip underneath the Huangpu River, pass along the southern edge of Shanghai's former French concession and head west, before turning south, heading into Songjiang district and finally finishing at Songjiang South Railway Station.
So finally made it all the way out here to Shaolu in Shanghai's far east at the end of Line 9. Now there's really not a lot out here except for tower blocks and what looks to be an empty paddock. So this will probably be a very short stop. But just down there, behind me, a few kilometres, is the mouth of the Yangtze River. Now when I looked it up on the map, there did seem to be some sort of a chemical plant or oil refinery there on the shoreline, so that would make access a little bit difficult, so we're going to give that one a miss. Now you might remember from Line 6, which also crisscrossed Pudong, that Pudong district has a vast amount of residential areas. So between here and central Shanghai, that's pretty much all there is. So there's not a lot left here to do other than get back on the metro and start the long journey back towards central Shanghai. So we have made it here to Xiaonanmen, which literally means small south gate, and that is because we are indeed at the south end of the old town of Shanghai. Called the small south gate because this is where part of the old Shanghai city wall was. Now you can still make out the circular course of the old city wall on today's street map. Now there is another location, Laoximen, which means main west gate. And going back further into Shanghai's history, it was this circular old town area which was the original fishing village of Shanghai, which existed before the foreign settlements were founded in the 1800s. Now even though some parts of the old town have been demolished and more probably will be demolished soon, there is still a lot of history in this area. Now last year I was lucky enough to visit the Shuyinlu, the Hermit's Library, not far from here, and I made a vlog about it. I'll put the link up here, but here's a very short taste of the Shuyinlu. Now, there are a couple of other little interesting historic features that I would like to point out while we're here. And the first of them is here, the Xiaonanmen Fire Tower. Now, this fire tower was built in 1909 by the Fire Association of Shanghai at the time. Now, of course, the old town was so densely packed with so many buildings in such close proximity to each other. This fire tower was built to be able to easily spot any fires that might break out and easily attend to them. It was in fact the tallest structure in Shanghai when it was built, and it's funny to see it now surrounded by tower blocks. And just down the street we can see the Shanghai Tower, which is the current tallest building in Shanghai, looming in the distance, which is a damn sight taller. Now, the other thing here at Xiaonanmen I'd like to show you is this slightly sorry looking ginkgo tree behind me, which is starting to look beautiful with the first sprouts of spring. Now, this ginkgo tree is estimated to be a staggering 700 years old, which is quite amazing, and it's said to be the oldest artifact in central Shanghai, which is pretty incredible. Now, if those figures are indeed accurate, this tree must have seen an immense amount of change throughout its lifetime. Indeed, that would predate the city walls, which were constructed in 1553 and demolished in 1912. Now, talking of demolition, there are already some parts of the old town which have been demolished, and plenty more which have recently been bricked up after their residents have left, which will surely also soon be demolished. I also hope that something sympathetic to the history of this area is built once this area has been demolished, not just estates and estates full of tower blocks. After all, the history of Shanghai has shown only one thing is certain, and that's change. I stopped off here at Dapuqiao to show you one of the more well-known spots of Shanghai, Tianzifang. Now, Tianzifang is a former residential block which has been transformed into an area filled with bars, restaurants, art galleries, and generally anything else that's high on the hipster meter. Now, compared to Xintiandi, which is similar, but Xintiandi is a lot more renovated and rebuilt, luxury and generally sterile, whereas Tianzifang here is, I think, a lot more interesting.
Hello.
Now, a lot of these buildings still have residents in the upper floors, and I'm sure they're quite enjoying the peace and quiet here at the moment, well, relative peace and quiet. This isn't the first time I visited Tianzifang, but it's easily the quietest. So Tianzifang and its cool alleyways filled with bars, restaurants, shops and art galleries comes highly recommended. If you're in Shanghai, make sure to stop off here, even if it is normally a lot busier than this. I'd love to stop for a second and have a beer in the sunshine, but I have a vlog to film. Dude, where is my scooter? Now, we have left central Shanghai behind and headed out west. We've got this quick stop here in Juting, simply to point you in the direction of a vlog I made about 2 years ago about the nail house of Juting. Now, this was a house situated next to a road just up there, and the owner had rejected the compensation to move out of his house. So they simply widened the road around the house. Now, I got a few good shots of it, and I think it was demolished only a month or two after I filmed that vlog. Now I'll put the link to the vlog up here and in the description below, so go and check it out. But first, here's a very quick taste of the nail house of Juting. So I've made it here to Sheshan in Songjiang district, and we're here to visit Sheshan. Now Shanghai is a notoriously flat city, which makes it great for bicycle riding, but there's only a few points higher than a couple of meters above sea level. But one of those points a bit higher than a few meters above sea level is Sheshan, and it's sort of the highest point in Shanghai. So it was a brisk bicycle ride from Sheshan Metro Station here to the Sheshan National Park, and it's going to be a brisk walk up these stairs to the top. So let me explain what I meant when I said that Sheshan is almost the highest point in Shanghai. It's the highest point in Shanghai on the mainland, so Shanghai proper, and it's also the highest point in Shanghai you can actually get to. In the southwest corner of Shanghai municipality there is Jinshan, popular beach town in Shanghai, and just a few hundred meters off the coast at Jinshan is an island which is actually a few meters taller in elevation than Sheshan. However, it's closed, you can't get there, so Sheshan is about as high as you can get in Shanghai, discounting of course the 3 skyscrapers in Pudong, which are in fact quite a bit higher. So there we have it, we've made it to Sheshan with quite a nice vista. Downtown Shanghai is over there, and the centre of Songjiang district is down there where we'll be heading soon. Now you can see it's a little bit smoggy today, which is the surest sign that the economy of Shanghai is pumping up again after the COVID-19 shutdown. Now down there we can also see a few luxury looking villas. On the bike ride from the metro station to here, past some luxury looking gated communities, Happy Valley, which is one of the notable theme parks in Shanghai, the Playa Maya water park, which looked to be an Aztec themed water park, and some luxury hotels as well. Now here behind me is the Sheshan Cathedral, which was built between 1924 and 1935 on the site of a previous church. And that in turn was built on the site of a Buddhist monastery. And of course, like a lot of religious buildings during the Cultural Revolution, it did sustain some damage, but has been slowly repaired since then. Now, the other building up here on Sheshan, the one behind me, is the Sheshan Observatory. It was built in 1899 and is one of China's oldest observatories, and includes one of the oldest astronomical telescopes in China. Now the metro line is over there in the distance, so I think that's about to be where I'm going to head back to. We've made it here to Songjiang University Town. Now, Songjiang itself has a long history dating back thousands of years, and indeed is pretty much the cultural centre of Shanghai. And it existed as a town far before Shanghai itself, as we know it today, was formed. Now here, Songjiang University Town has developed an educational hub, hence the name Songjiang University Town, and there's about 7 universities which have campuses not that far away. But also not that far away is another one of Shanghai's internationally inspired areas. But today we're going to what is probably the most famous of them all, and to get there I've got to take another mode of transport which as a Melburnian I'm a little bit more familiar with. Yes, that's right, it's a tram. Songjiang has a 2-line mini tram network. That's right, we are here in Thames Town, the British town, complete with red phone boxes and statues of Winston Churchill and William Shakespeare. Now Thames Town is probably the most well known of the international towns in Shanghai. It's been featured in TV shows and vlogs. Probably the most surreal of the international towns I've visited. It's probably the one that gives you the best feeling of actually being in that place. The building styling is quite good, and details such as the red phone boxes all give you that effect. It's also the busiest of the towns I've been to. There's quite a few people here, although most of them seem to be here to do photo shoots. We saw one commercial photo shoot going on for a fashion brand, and plenty of wedding photos as well. It's a popular backdrop for wedding photo shoots.
This one will have to leave.
Now, as with the Dutch and Scandinavian towns, Thames Town was planned and built in the mid-2000s, when 9 locations in more outlying areas of Shanghai were identified and built using international building styles and urban planning ideas. Now, the idea died out pretty quickly. Most of these towns were catered for more middle and upper class residents, but because they're further from central Shanghai, they never really caught on, never became that popular. And also a lot of the houses in these areas were bought up by investors and real estate speculators, which is why most of these areas are fairly quiet and there's not that many residents. Still, these towns remain as an interesting snapshot into a period of Shanghai's development where they were eager to take lessons from other parts of the world. And if nothing else, they certainly make a unique photo shoot backdrop.
Bronze. James Bronze.
So after the very imported British culture at Thames Town, I thought it's finally time to check out some traditional Chinese culture. So we've stopped off here to have a look at Zubaichi Park. So here we are inside Zubaichi Gardens. Now these gardens date back to the Song dynasty, which lasted from 960 until 1279, which means these gardens are at least 300 years older than the more famous Yuyuan Gardens of central Shanghai. Now Zubaichi is one of the 5 ancient gardens of Shanghai, which includes the Yuyuan Gardens, and I have to say it is absolutely beautiful here. The Yuyuan Gardens in the old town part of central Shanghai are rightfully famous. They are very beautiful. It's always crowded with tourists there, whereas here it's so serene, well, almost, but so much quieter in terms of the number of people. Now I know we are quite far off the tourist trail here, but if you do get the chance, come here to Songjiang District and visit Zui Baiche. It's highly recommended. So here we are, we have finally made it through Songjiang District to the end of the line here, Songjiang South Railway Station, which unsurprisingly is a railway station, a stop on the Shanghai to Hangzhou high-speed railway line. There really isn't that much else here. There's the railway station behind me, and there's Bronze Square building is the metro station, which appears to have been inspired by the former East German Parliament building. So it's been a long journey today. Well, it's been a long journey today, which is to be expected on the second longest metro line in Shanghai, and especially out here in Songjiang District. Thames Town was incredibly surreal and unusual, but I have to say the highlight was undoubtedly the Zui Baiche Gardens. It was incredibly beautiful and very peaceful. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give me a like, drop me a comment, let me know what you thought of this episode, and don't forget to subscribe. There will be more episodes of End of the Line coming up very soon. So until then, bye for now.
We're now at the terminal station.